What's up everyone, and welcome back to another episode of I Cook Fresh. My name is Randy, and today I'm gonna be showing you how to cook one of my favorite dishes, spaghetti bolognese with broccoli and mushrooms. This is a crowd pleaser every time I make it, and I recommend that you learn how to make it. I'm gonna show you step by step today exactly how to cook this dish. You can find this recipe on my website, and you'll find the link to this recipe in the description below. Pro tip, by the way, have all your stuff out and ready to go before you start prepping, and that's gonna make life a lot easier for you. All right, so we're gonna start with dicing the onions, chopping the broccoli, and cutting up the mushrooms. Just remember, wash your produce before you start prepping. Okay, the way you dice an onion is this way. Cut down on the center. We savoring our scraps, people. Peel it off, leave this part right here. Now we're just gonna cut right here, down, almost like if you're julienning, but you're not gonna cut all the way through. Again, just cut down, use your fingers to give your knife a path to follow, and you don't cut yourself. Now they're cut this way. You're gonna cut down this way like this, and then dice. You can dice your onion any way you want, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this is how pros do it. We're gonna move it onto our plates. Next, we're gonna cut up this broccoli right here. Next, we're gonna slice some mushrooms. You can cut these however you want. I just like to quarter them. And when you're doing a cut like this, notice how I use my fingers to hold down the sides, and I run the knife in between my fingers like that. Next, we're gonna cut up these tomatoes, and this is actually not in the recipe, but I noticed I had these 2 tomatoes that were kind of squishy, so I figured why not put them in a marinara sauce, right? We're gonna cut down the center, put it on its flat side, cut this way first, and then dice it. When you're cutting tomatoes, this is when you're gonna find out if your knife is sharp or not. If your knife is not sharp enough, you're gonna have a hard time right here. But of course, be careful with your fingers. Last but not least, the garlic. You need 5 cloves of garlic for this recipe. So we're gonna cut right here, almost the same as the onion. And we're gonna pick out 5 cloves. One quick way to peel garlic is you put it in a roll like this, and you smash it with your knife. Because you're gonna chop it up anyway. And after you mash it, the peel comes off relatively quickly. Alright, so here's our 5 cloves of garlic. And you just give this a rough chop, or you can slice it or cut it however you want. If you like big chunks of garlic, in your food, then leave big chunks of garlic. Me, I like to chop it up. First I slice. The rough chop technique, you put your opposite hand over the tip of the knife and just chop down, up and down. And there's your roughly chopped garlic. Okay, now that you're done prepping, we can move on to making the sauce. So now we're moving on to the sauce. In my recipe, I say use a large saute pan, but today I'm gonna use my beautiful Dutch oven because I love how it looks and I love how it cooks my food. So we're gonna start with cooking our onions with our ground beef. And I'm using an avocado oil. This is one of the best oils to use. It is a high heat oil. You can get it as hot as you want and it's not gonna burn on you. It's great in flavor and nutrients. Do not use vegetable oil, soybean oil, corn oil. Those are cheaper oils that are not so great for you. Avocado oil is one of the healthiest oils you can use. We're gonna add in our ground beef that we pre-broke up with our hands. And then you could just mix in some more. Make sure when you're getting a rubber spatula to get a high heat spatula. They make spatulas for all kinds of things. You obviously want a high heat spatula that's not gonna melt in your pot. Now we're gonna hit it with some salt and pepper to taste. A good rule of thumb is just cover all the surface area you have on top with your seasonings. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna find that you put the correct amount of seasoning. So we're gonna let this cook for about 5 minutes or until the beef is completely brown. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the stove. And what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna drain all this fat that's at the bottom of the pan because I don't want that much fat in my food. Once you place your beef in the colander, do not rinse or wash your pot. You want that beefy flavor still in there. You don't want to get rid of any of that. So now we're gonna add our vegetables, cook those down a little bit, and then add our sauces. We're gonna add our 1 pound of broccoli. One pound of mushrooms and some salt and pepper to taste. Remember, this is a lot of vegetables, so you're gonna need a lot of salt and pepper. Now what's gonna happen is the mushrooms are gonna release that moisture that they have inside and help cook the broccoli, which has a lot less moisture. And once those are cooked down enough, we can start adding our liquids, which is our marinara and our vegetable stock. So we're gonna let this cook for about 8 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna fill up my pasta pot with water. That way, while this is going, I can bring my water to a boil because I know that's gonna take a while. So now that our vegetables have cooked down enough, we're gonna go ahead and add some garlic and that tomato that we diced up. We're gonna add our cooked beef. So now we're gonna add our marinara sauce. And the good tip that I learned, you see all this marinara that's left over in the jar. What you wanna do is pour your veggie stock in here. Put the lid back on and give it a good shake. And that way you don't lose any of that marinara that you paid for. Now we're gonna add some Italian seasoning blend. You can use whichever Italian seasoning you want. I got this one off Sam's Club, at a Sam's Club, and I love it. So we're gonna add about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Once you got all your ingredients in the pot, you want to give it a good stir. Bring it down to a simmer and put the lid on. Now we wait for all those flavors to blend together. And that's really gonna take some time. I give it for at least 30 minutes. If you wanna go longer and let it simmer for longer, you can, and it's gonna be even tastier that way. Okay, so now that we have our sauce on simmer, our water for our pasta is boiling. So that means it's ready for you to put the pasta in. Before you put the pasta in, you want to put a good amount of salt. That was probably about a tablespoon of salt. And just like the marinara, you want to get a high quality pasta. It's going to be tastier and your taste buds are going to love you for it. You just pour the whole thing into our pots. Take some tongs, give it 2 clicks, and then just gently turn the pasta, fold it so that it's completely submerged in the water. So now that our pasta is completely submerged, you want to let it cook for about 8 minutes or until it's al dente, which means it still has a little bit of bite to it, but it's not completely mushy. You don't want mushy pasta. And you just give it a stir now and then to avoid clumping, just like rice. All right, so now our pasta is cooked all the way. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it off. What you're looking for in your pasta is that it's limp, and when you bite into it, you're still actually biting, and it's not soft, which is exactly what I get. So we're gonna go over to the sink, drain it out in a colander, and then come back over here. All right. So now I got my pasta out of the pot in a colander, and it's ready to mix with the sauce. I've given my sauce plenty of time to simmer and blend all those flavors that we put into it. So now we're going to combine the two. So a lot of people put oil in their pasta after it's done cooking, but if you plan it correctly and your sauce is ready at the same time as your pasta, what you want to do is go ahead and put your pasta directly in the sauce. So that way your sauce will stick to the pasta. If you add oil to your pasta, the sauce is gonna slide right off. So no oil in this pasta. It's because we added enough salt in our pasta water that we don't need to season it anymore at this point. What I like to do is exactly what I'm doing right here. Put your pasta in the sauce and then mix it up. So it's just a forward and back motion. Go forward, grab the pasta from the bottom, and then bring that pasta forward and up. And you're pretty much tossing your pasta in this wonderful sauce you made. You get your plate. There you go. You get your plate. And the way professionals plate spaghetti is you go up and twist. Twist. Alright? Now with the spoon, you're going to get a nice scoop of that, put it right on top. Really, you can put as much as you want. And here's your finished product. Completely balanced meal. You got your starch, your protein, and your fiber all in one. You want to top it with some Parmesan. So this is, again, the higher quality, the better. Now we just give it a taste to enjoy all that hard work that we put in. This concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you try this recipe for yourself and see exactly how delicious it is. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a fresh day.